You may have heard of the famous encounter between Harry Houdini and Dai Vernon, the great card magician. Houdini bragged that if he saw the same magic trick 3 times, he would be able to figure out the method. Dai Vernon showed Houdini the ambitious card routine 7 times, and Houdini was never able to figure out the method. And that was for the simple reason that Dai Vernon changed the method every time. Now, to be able to perform the same trick multiple times, you have to have multiple methods for the same trick. So here I'm going to show you what I call the Dai Vernon card trick, and I will quickly show you not 7, but 8 methods you can choose from. So here I'm going to assume I have a spectator. I ask them to choose 2 sets of 4 of a kind. Okay, so for the demonstration, we'll go ahead and make it easy. We'll assume they choose the 4 jacks and the 4 kings. Now we won't see these as the performer. They would be face down. Have the spectator randomly stack these. Okay, and then from here we're going to spell Dai Vernon's first name, which is D-A-I. By dealing out into 3 piles. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And then we'll just stack in opposite order. From here, I'll go ahead and just give it a Charlier shuffle. More importantly, I'll have you come in here and randomly cut the packet wherever you'd like. Complete the cut. And then we'll repeat that one more time. D-A-I for Dai Vernon. So quickly, here are the 8 methods. First one is just a left-right dealing into 2 piles, random stacking decided by the spectator. You can do one of those or many of those. You can push off pairs of cards, left, right, random stacking decided by the spectator. You could do one of those or many of those. We can do a Klondike alternating left-right dealing like this. Random stacking decided by the spectator. We can do one of those or many of those. We can even do a down, under, left-right like this, with the spectator deciding the stacking order of the 2 piles, left on right or right on left, left on right. We can do one of those or many of those. Okay, here's the 5th method. Just deal out into 4 piles. We can stack the rows randomly or the columns randomly. What would you prefer? Top row on bottom. What about now? Right on left. We can do one of those or many of those. We can push off into 4 piles. Random stacking of the rows or the columns. Your choice. You want the right column on top of the left, then top on bottom. We can do one of those or many of those. We can Klondike into 4 piles like this. Random stacking the rows or the columns. What would you like? The first column on top of the second. And then what about stacking? Bottom on top. We can do one of those or many of those. And then our final method is just a down under into 4 piles like this. And then we'll have the same stacking options. The rows or the columns. What would you like? Top row on the bottom. Okay. What about left or right? Right on left. Okay. Very good. So I've shown you 8 methods. So you can perform any of those in any combination in quantity that you like. And then to finish, all we need to do is use Dai Vernon's last name. I'm going to spell Vernon. V-E-R-N-O-N, and then spell method. M-E-T-H-O-D, the Vernon method. And then from there, we'll just deal out into 2 piles and see where that takes us. So what have we accomplished? Well, let's just take a look at the first pile. Got a jack, a jack, a jack. That is amazing. Houdini circuitry is blowing up at this point. How in the world did you pull that off? We use not only one method, We showed you a collection of 8 methods which can be done individually or in combination with each other in any order and quantity that the spectator would like. That is amazing. Okay, so how do you do this? You do exactly what I did, and this is going to work perfectly. There were no fibs told. When I said you can perform certain things as many times as you like, that is true. Test it for yourself. And then if you just finish them the way that I did, you will separate the 2 sets of 4 perfectly. Okay, now I will certainly add some notes in the description below explaining how in the world we are able to pull off such an effect and the mathematics driving it. But if you do everything I showed you, this is guaranteed to work for you every single time. So thank you for watching, and take a look at other videos on the Absolute Math Magic channel.